Hi, welcome to my channel and thanks for tuning into this video. Today I'm going to be talking mainly about the new Oden's Eye Saga of Freja collection. I have all of the palettes here and I just wanted to do a little look with them and do swatches of all of them and just talk about them because this was my first time ever trying this brand and I'm really impressed with it. And then I also wanted to just talk a little bit about this new Lancôme Concealer. I'll show myself applying it and just share a few of my thoughts on it. So if you'd like to see all of that, just keep on watching. So I started out with foundation and then I applied my concealer on top of it. So I'm going to insert the clip of myself applying the concealer. This is the shade 090, so I believe this is the lightest shade in the range. And it's called the Lancôme Teint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. So I know that they've had a Teint Idole concealer before, but it was in a little tube and I never tried that. And I assume this is just kind of like a reformulation of that, a new way to present it. And I've been really impressed with this. So it has a matte finish and I think they say it's full coverage. I would say it can be sort of a medium to full depending on how much you apply and how you blend it out and so on. And the finish is a really beautiful, very soft, natural matte finish. I might even just call it a natural finish, but it does lean a little bit towards the matte side. But you can see how easily that just blended right into my skin right there. And you can see a little bit of a sheen, but once it dries down, that kind of goes away and it just looks like beautiful, smooth skin. I find it really does smooth and it kind of blurs everything a little bit too. I've really been loving this just as I would traditionally use concealer, on top of foundation, but I've also been really enjoying it just on its own without foundation. So on a day-to-day basis, this is perfect for me. I just do my regular skincare routine and then I don't put any foundation all over my face and I just kind of use this where I want a little bit more coverage and it just blends out so beautifully and looks so natural and just really perfects the skin but doesn't look heavy or feel heavy at all. It's been really nice. So highly recommend this if you're kind of looking for a new concealer and especially if you want to be able to use it in different ways and have that versatility from it where you can use it with foundations or just on its own. It lasts really well all day, both on top of foundation and on its own. I just think it's a really excellent product. So hopefully if you've been curious about this, that will help you out. I've never tried the Lancôme foundation either, the Teint Idole foundation, and I'm kind of curious about it now, knowing how much I enjoy the concealer. Let me know if you've tried that foundation and your thoughts on it because I'm considering giving that a try at some point. The shade also is really great. You can see it just blended right into my skin there, and it seems to work for me on really any foundation that I use. So when I have a little bit of a deeper or warmer foundation, this shade, I think it's meant to be a neutral shade and I would say that's correct. It just works with everything. It can sort of, if you've used a bit of a darker foundation and I want to brighten up in certain areas, it's great for that, but it's not going to look too stark because it just blends so beautifully with everything. So that's the concealer, and now let's move into the eyeshadow palettes. First, I'm going to show you how I did this look, and then we'll go into swatches. So here's me doing this look. All right, so on the eyes, I already have a tiny bit of the Victoria Beckham Cocoa liner just along my upper waterline, and then I did a little line with it and just smudged it out and pulled whatever was on the brush just up there. You probably can barely even see it, but it just added a little bit of a deeper base to build the shadow on. So I'm going to be using the Saga of Freja palette from Oden's Eye, and this one in particular, I'm going to show you all the palettes, but this one comes with 2 palettes in it. I'm going to be using this first one here, and I'm going to be using this shade, this blue one, all over my lids, and the shade is called Muse. I'm just going to be using my Sonia G soft shader for that, and as I said, just putting it all over my lids. Okay, and then because I want to incorporate a bit of peachiness, because I have sort of a peach blush and peachier lips on, I'm gonna go into this shade here, which is called Love. And I'm taking my Wayne Goss 04 brush from his Edit collection, and just a little bit on the tip of that brush, and just really lightly going through the crease. It's actually really above the crease. Just right above and on the edge of where that blue shimmer is blended into. Although this is a very big brush for me to use on my eyes, it's perfect for this task because at least the point allows you to get a little bit more definition, but it's still going to make everything really super diffused and blended, and just add that really nice subtle shadow. I want to incorporate a bit of this color here too, again just to echo the peachiness going on in the rest of the look. This one's called Crush. It's the same type of formula as the Muse shade, and it's also kind of a bright, glittery peachy, and I'm just going to pull this through the center, kind of on an angle, up to the brow bone here. And it's just going to add a little bit of dimension. It's not really going to show up as like a stripe in the middle of the eye. It's just going to depend on the angle that you're looking at it from, and just add that little bit of extra interest in terms of the colors going on the eyelids. This is based on the Katie Jane Hughes Academy look from this past weekend. Quite similar to what she did for that, and I really loved that look, so I wanted to play with it a little bit more and change it up just a tiny little bit, but maintain the same idea. I just want to soften up the lower lash line and blend it out a little bit, so I'm going to use this shade, which is called Peace, on my mini booster from Sonia G. Just diffuse that along the lower lash line. I had pulled a tiny little bit of the remnants of the Victoria Beckham Cocoa liner that was on my brush from doing the top of my lid through the lower lash line as well, so that's the shadow that you were seeing already there. And now I'm just diffusing it and softening it out with this other shadow. All right, I think that's great for the eyes. I'm just going to finish up with some of my Lancôme mascara, and then I'll be back and we'll go through the palettes and do swatches and all of that fun stuff. So first I'm going to show you the swatches of this palette, which is the first palette in this little duo here. This is just the Saga of Freja Saga palette. So here are all the shades in that first palette, and the names from top to bottom are Love, Care, Passion, Peace, Mystery, Crush, Happy, Deep Thoughts, and Muse. And this was the palette that I used for the eye look today. I'm just going to show you all the swatches first, and then I'm going to talk about the different formulas and how they perform. And I'm going to show you now the swatches from this palette, which is the second one in this little book. And the shades here from top to bottom are Truth, Promise, Defend, Compassion, Intelligent, Inherit, Mature, Spark, and Strength. Next up is the Tears of Freja palette, this one right here. And the swatches from top to bottom are the shades Amethyst, Rosenquartz, Skin, Pink Ice, Red Coral, Tears, Agate, Amber, and Timber. So this one here, which is called Tears, this is the one that's like this kind of striped, tiger stripe looking one. And there's one in the next palette I'm going to show you too of that same formula or type. And it's really a topper shade. So it's kind of hard to see swatched, but it's this like multi-chrome topper, and it actually feels like a cream in the pan. So that's quite an interesting formula. So that's the Tears of Freja palette. The last one I have here is the Cat's Breath palette. And the shades from top to bottom here are Catnip, Bling, White Peach, Wool Ball, Warmth, Cat Star, Bad Temper, Soft, and Cat Hair. So again, this one here, which is called Cat Star, that's pretty hard to see because it's one of those iridescent topper shades. This one right here. So I want to talk a little bit about the different formulas that are included in these palettes. I think I'll use this one, the Tears of Freja or the Amber Tears palette, as an example because I think it has all of the different formulas in it. So we have the standard matte formulas. So that one, that one, that one, and that one, and that one in the middle are just standard mattes. The matte formula is beautiful, not patchy at all. It blends really well, even with all the different colors and so on. And it's a really great formula. I would compare it kind of to the Natasha Denona matte formula, but it's perhaps a little bit more hard pressed in the pan. So it's a little bit less powdery actually than some of Natasha's mattes can be. Actually, I just realized this is missing one of the formulas, so I'm going to quickly go into the Cat's Breath palette. And this one here is a sequin shade, so it's one of those mattes with little specks of glitter in it. I haven't actually used this one yet, so I don't know if those specks of glitter really transfer to the eye. Normally with those types of sequin shades, it doesn't really, it just pretty much looks like a matte, but I haven't tried that one yet, so I can't say for sure what that one's going to be like. But then the other formulas, we have shimmer. So this is more of a typical shimmer shade. It's not super glittery or blingy, but it's just a really nice soft shimmer type of shade. So that's one of those. And then we have the more kind of almost like a pressed glitter shade, but I'm not sure that they're actually pressed glitters, but they're super easy to apply and they have almost a wet feeling to them. So that would be like this one and this one. And like that icy, actually both the shimmers that I used on my eyes today, they're that type of formula. I used Muse and this one here, which is called Crush. So those are both that kind of glittery, creamy kind of formula. I'm realizing now there's another type of formula I can show you here. This one, Happy. There are a few of these across the palettes. It's kind of like a multi-colored glitter formula. So it feels very similar to like this one and this one, but it has actually a whole bunch of different colors mixed in it, and they all kind of blend together when you use the shadow. It's hard to see once they've been swatched, but they're really cool and very beautiful, multi-dimensional colors. And the last type of formula is this one here, which is that iridescent topper type shade that looks almost like zebra stripes or tiger stripes. And it's a really shiny, very creamy, almost oily feeling shadow that is really great as a topper shade. So I can imagine putting, like, for example, one of the mattes all over your lid and then topping it with that would be super pretty. Yeah. So just rounding up my thoughts on these palettes, I am just really blown away by them. The quality is fantastic. The color stories are really interesting. Like, they're different from what I'm seeing all the other brands putting out. This one actually does remind me a little bit of, I think it's one of the Kaleidos palettes. There's one that has this similar color story, but it's just so beautiful and the shadows work so well. And here, like, this is going to be great for fall, even though I used this today. with the lighter shades, but the darker shades are going to be so pretty in the autumn. And this one here is kind of similar to this one, but it's almost just like a deeper and brighter color story, whereas this one leans more into the pastel tones. But they all work beautifully together. If you only wanted to get one, just, you know, look at the color stories and see which one you think suits you best. But all the shadows are really excellent quality, and it's just really fun to have something different and fresh to play with. I also like the presentation of these palettes. They're cardboard, really nice quality, thick cardboard, and they have a magnetic closure, and they look like little books, which is really cute. The artwork is different and interesting too. It almost has sort of an Art Deco feel with the artwork on the books, and I like the contrast with the pastel colors and then the metallic details. It's just a beautiful collection, and I'm really excited to try more from Oden's Eye, and I think really fairly priced as well for the quality and the uniqueness of the products. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Let me know if you have any comments or questions below. I'd love to see them. And if you'd like to see more from me and you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I'd love for you to do so. Thanks again. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.